I have a question. What happened with the first book? Did you like totally abandon it, or because for what I understood, the part of the interviews from that first book are now incorporated in the second book, no?
Yes. Oh, that's a cool question. So in the year that I got separated, at the same time, the person, a dear friend of mine who helped me to write the book, Ross G. Kelly, he got a brain tumor and he passed away. So I had this personal crisis for me, and then my friend passing away. So I started from fresh, but I still had the same interviews. But when I wanted, the first book was really about more achieving. So it was about success and fulfillment. And my assumption was that you have to be successful to be fulfilled. And the book that you have in your hands now is actually it's exactly the opposite. So through fulfillment, you will find success as a side product. So being successful is actually living a fulfilled life. So this is what I understand. So all the interviews I did 60 or more interviews. They were all focused on success and fulfillment. So I took what I could to use in the book. And not many are mentioned now individually. In the beginning, I wanted to write an interview book, just have interviews, and my story was not in the book. And, and my epiphany was that actually I have a lot of wisdom inside and stories that I need to share. So the book that you have now is actually about my stories and related to the interviews. But it's more, the focus is about me. So yeah, so it's kind of sad that I didn't write the first book, but yeah, it was just not meant to be there.
Yeah. I think that the first book might be written from your old self, more into the let's say corporate success, materialistic world, and this second book is written from your actual self, more into the life serve, philosophy serve perspective. So I think it's a bigger and better perspective and book for sure.
Yeah, I think like the old book would have been one of many, right? There are many books about success, and yeah. So I'm happy that it's turned out exactly as it has. But of course, in that time when I lost my friend and I had all these challenges in my life, it was sad because I had to let go of this old self. So you talk about dissolving, right? The ego has to dissolve to bring in more your heart and soul.
Yeah. I like this idea of dissolving. I also love the idea of the snakes that they take off the skin. It takes a long time and then take off this, and then you throw it away, and then that's you see there's like your old self half transparent.
Yes, and I think that this is really the most unthinkable to do, to step out of your thinkable life and to shed your old identity. So to shed the skin, like my friend Oli Gabriel says in the foreword, that I was shedding the skin. And I think people,
he uses the same image, really.
Yeah. So many people come to me and say, "Wow, you're so courageous. You new life and step out of corporate and living this way. It takes a lot of courage." And I many days I go through the waves of life, right? It's when you live outside of your comfort zone, it's very scary many times. So I have this moment when I think, oh my God, how am I gonna pay the bills, and how am I gonna make it? So I live my unthinkable each day. Sometimes it's like you catch a wave, you look down, it's, oh my God, this is so scary.
I think it also it all connects to the idea of freedom. I think when you're able to do the unthinkable, it's about being free. And most of the people are afraid to be free. They don't understand that fear holds them back, but most of the fears are only in their minds. And you gotta understand, it's a very powerful emotion. Thomas Hobbes talks about fear a lot, and how fear can be used to control people, to control societies, even in political terms. And actually, my research is a lot about this mechanism. People, corrupt leaders using fear and producing terror to control people. But people who are well off in Switzerland or in Barcelona, that are in a good job, they have their families, maybe their kids are at the university, still don't believe that they can be free, And when they see us, they always let's say, I think they're a little bit jealous, but they always think that our lives are way easier than they are. Because they think that, oh, you did something unthinkable, and no, for sure, our lives are also like complicated, and we need to pay the bills, and we need to like sometimes we have like perfect conditions, but some other days there are like very flat days, But as we are free and we have this, we can connect to that energy. I think that also shows up even in our skin, in the way we get old, in the way we accept things, and I think that's great. And I think it would be nice for everybody to understand that it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to live an unthinkable life. It's, again, just breaking a few beliefs, a few bad connections in your brain, sometimes in your reptilian brain, that is stopping you to do things that there's no such thing as total security. There's no such thing as total control. There are just illusions. So when you understand that, organizing your whole life around total control and total illusion and total security makes no sense. And we've gone through amazing crises like a pandemic, like the Great Recession. So people are really unfulfilled. They're really unhappy because they organize everything around something around an illusion, but they have like two big demonstrations, proofs that this does not exist, and still they want to go back to their thinkable lives and do the same thing as always, and expecting a different result, which is like also mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think that's what Albert Einstein says. That's insanity. If you do the same thing, but you expect something different. I think that this applies to that too. And I think I also talk about illusion, that, the control and the illusion of control. So I think my life right now is more, it's really honest and true, because I don't live in illusion. When I don't do well, I will feel it immediately. I don't have like the safety parachute or something like that. And
yeah.
Many people think that, okay, I can get out of this life if I have a safe life to go to. But when I jumped, it's like you don't have a safety net. You have to jump without knowing how you land, and it actually only takes the courage to take the jump, and then you have to figure out the landing and all the rest you have to figure out as you go. And I think that's what's really scary.
Yeah, as you go when in flow, and your heart will lead you to a nice place. But yeah, for sure, one of the ideas that I didn't know, that in your book, I don't know the word, it was seijaku or something like this, a Japanese concept.
Yeah, that's peace of mind.
That peace of mind, but the idea that you can find peace of mind in the middle of total chaos, or in the middle of a bad wipeout. That is a powerful idea. I thought about the ataraxia that the Stoics talk about, that it's when you want to achieve this Zen state, that you are super cool with everything, but the idea that you can always stop and breathe and say, okay, I'm gonna find, it's seijaku the word, no?
Seijaku, yeah.
Seijaku, so that you can find seijaku in the middle of the storm. That is very, 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 very important. And around the idea of control, I think that the Stoics I think they have the last word. Like yes, for sure there are things that you cannot control. So for those things, accept them. You know, like. But the things you can control, and most of those things are within you. Those are the ones that need to be improved, addressed. No? So you always have and you say that also in the book. You always have a choice. You always have the options, and that is connected to Viktor Frankl's. No, Viktor Frankl's.
Man's Search for Meaning.
In the search of meaning, yeah. Well, he was in Auschwitz. That there's this option of you, how you take the worst possible experiences. That in your book there are so many examples. All these Paralympic men and women that they had devastating experience, and they took it and they transform inside. They cannot change their spinal, that is fracture, their spinal nerve, but they can become a bigger person. They can become a champion, and they can even help the community. So I wouldn't say that was a blessing that they had this accident, but at the end you can find blessing also in the worst things. So understanding that things you can't control can be an opportunity for growth, learning, and blessing. That's your words, almost quoting.
I have this one person I interviewed is Zach Mustame, who was imprisoned in Papua New Guinea in this. It's kind of a concentration camp that all the immigrants to Australia were processed there in Papua New Guinea. And he was, I think it was on his 20th birthday that he entered there, and he didn't know how long he would stay. So he lived in captivity. So he was captured, and he didn't know when to get out. And I think, like him, so many people live in our thinkable lives so captured. But he knew that he had a choice to find happiness within his capture. So he was learning how to play music. So he was playing the guitar, and he was teaching his other cellmates. He was teaching them English, and he was only in the 20s, right, early 20s, and he stayed for 6 years. And now he's in Southern California. He's a real estate agent, and he's doing really well. And so he always had this big mission. And people tell me, yeah, you know, for people like Elon Musk, it's easy, and for those people, it's easy. But this guy was really was in prison. And he had a brain tumor, and he, you know, that it was a lot of violence in there, and he made it. So it's everyone has the chance. It's not about if you're Elon Musk or someone else. Everyone has a chance to make your unthinkable life happen.
Exactly. I think you mentioned that he got beaten by the guards, no, and yeah, for sure, it's so easy. Like your ego after having brain tumor, being in prison and being beaten up, your ego is going to tell you, hey, you should like lay down on this puddle of self-pityness and just be there like complaining about the world forever, because you have enough reasons. You have enough reasons to say this is a fucked up world. But no, these guys are like a role model, and say, yes, of course I could do that. But where would I be now? So what if all of us would do these things? Every time we have a setback, we start complaining, we get angry, and then we stop doing what we're supposed to do. On the other hand, you can follow their path and see that there's always a way to use these setbacks to become bigger persons. And imagine if you're going to buy a house, to find a guy like this, or a person that is all the time complaining because he couldn't get like the last Honda or the last Mercedes or whatever, you know.